I never thought I'd do a story involving Dr. Phil, but here I am. I've covered a lot of stories about rock and roll imposters, but this one is truly unique because it involves a gullible woman being fooled by not one, but two, well actually four rock and roll imposters. It will culminate with the woman appearing on the Dr. Phil show along with her friend. Not just that, but the real rock stars also appeared to tell the victim that she'd been catfished. That's what we're going to explore in today's video.
My relationship with Nikki Sixx is a solid, good friendship, and we have great communication between each other. I love Bret Michaels and he loves me. After 3 weeks of talking back and forth, he said he was falling in love with me.
This story dates back to 2021 and involves a Poison and Mötley Crüe fan named Tina, but she wasn't just any fan. She believed that she was actually friends with Mötley Crüe bassist Nikki Sixx and engaged to Poison frontman Bret Michaels. The story started with the rock stars allegedly reaching out to her on Instagram, and Tina would admit to Dr. Phil that she did initially question whether or not it was real. She would admit that the imposters sent her the driver's licenses of both musicians, and she would reveal to Dr. Phil that her and her daughter did a reverse image search online to see if the photos of the licenses had been used in scams before, and they hadn't, so for her, it legitimized the whole thing. Her friend Vivian, however, thought there were some mistakes on the driver's licenses, but Tina didn't agree. On top of that, Vivian found it strange that none of these so-called rock stars sent her flowers, flew her out, let alone even talked to her on the phone or video chatted. Things would escalate to where Tina was texting back and forth pretty regularly with people she thought were Sixx and Michaels. Tina at one point claimed she texted with Nikki Sixx every day for 6 months. As to why she didn't talk on video chat or meet either rock stars in person, she would tell Dr. Phil that both rock stars were heavily controlled by their management and that their phone cameras weren't working. There were a few odd times where she claimed to have video chatted with Nikki Sixx for a few seconds, but the quality was pretty poor. Things got even more bizarre when Tina would tell Dr. Phil that soon enough Sixx and Michaels were fighting over her. The story took an even crazier turn when Tina admitted she was talking to up to 3 people pretending to be Bret Michaels.
It is very frustrating knowing that you are talking to the real Bret and then you have fake Brets trying to contact you. After 3 weeks of talking back and forth, he said he was falling in love with me. Several months ago, we were talking and he had us take the oath over the Bible that we would be devoted to each other. After we took the oath, he proposed to me and I said yes.
As you can probably imagine, she was a victim of catfishing. For those who aren't familiar with the term, it's when people impersonate someone online, in this case celebrities, to get people to send them money or their personal information. Tina would admit to sending money to both Bret Michaels and Nikki Sixx imposters. Tina would appear on the Dr. Phil show with one of her friends who knew she was being scammed the whole time, but of course she never listened to her. Dr. Phil would poke holes in Tina's so-called relationship with the rock stars, with the real Nikki Sixx and Bret Michaels also appearing on the program. Sixx would appear via video chat with his wife telling Dr. Phil and Tina, "The first time I heard about this was when we talked about it. We wanted to come on together and let you know that whoever you're talking to is not me, and I'm sorry that this is happening to you. Watching the show and how Dr. Phil is trying to break it all down for you, it's heartbreaking for us. It's not fun. It's cruel and you seem like a very nice person." Sixx promised to invite Tina to a meet and greet when Mötley Crüe's planned stadium tour with Poison and Def Leppard was planned to resume. Poison frontman Bret Michaels wouldn't appear live on the show, instead pre-taping a segment warning Tina about imposters. Michaels would tell Dr. Phil and Tina, "These imposters who are going after innocent people like Tina, who's on your show right now, and other people, they will not stop during this pandemic. People are vulnerable. I feel like people right now are isolated, and that this is the perfect time for these scumbags, scammers, con artists, and imposters to come after innocent people." This wasn't the first time Michaels had to speak out against people impersonating him, as he had put out a similar message a few weeks earlier. By the end of the show, Tina would tell Dr. Phil, "I was scammed and I admit it." That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again in Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.